I've been trying to figure out what to do with this wall for some time now. I have an idea. That kind of works. Bit of a reflection. Alright, vlog starts now. What's up guys, welcome to another episode of the vlog. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the value of gathering insight. And the reason I want to talk to you today about this is because I think that sometimes we're a bit misguided as to what insight actually is and how it can actually add value to a digital project that you're running. Whether that's a website build or launching a campaign or wanting to create a new product to increase your revenue stream for your business. Typically when we're talking about insight, I'm referring to three broad categories. What, why, and who. Let's start with the what. Okay, so the first part of any insight process is to understand what is actually happening, whether that's currently what's happening in the market or what's happening on your website. If it's to do with your website, we tend to conduct what we call as a web audit. So the web audit goes deep into your analytics. It looks at all the fundamentals of your site. We want to bring out the data. We want to see the numbers. We want to understand what is actually happening right here, right now. Once we've identified the what, we then move on to why. Why do customers behave in a certain way? Why do they bounce off a certain web page? Or why do they buy in a certain way? Why do customers not renew? All these kind of questions as to why a user behaves in a certain way. There's a couple of ways to try and get down and understand this information. Our two preferred methods are web user testing and customer research. You'll never fully be able to understand why someone behaves in a certain way unless you go speak to that audience. So that's why the value of being able to do proper qualitative customer research is imperative. So the what, going back to the web audit, is quantitative, and the why, through customer research, is qualitative. And finally, who. So this is where we like to take the information that we've already gathered and really start breaking it down into who is the target audience. We tend to do this through persona mapping. Once we've understood who the user is, and you can really break this down to say 4 or 5 different customer segments, you then start to begin to understand who it is you're really trying to engage with, or who is your brand actually trying to talk to. So now we have the what, we have the why, and we have the who. How do we use all of this insight? What value can it really bring? Let me show you. I need a whiteboard. To the office. We got a whiteboard and a pen. Okay, so a typical web build process follows a pretty similar kind of waterfall approach. So along the bottom, we have time. Then starting up here, we move Okay, so this is a fairly standard process for a web design project. We start off with requirements, we move on to specification. The design and development are the two middle phases, and then there's testing, deployment, and then maintenance once the site is actually live. The question I ask is, why is it that the client only gets to see the real website at this point here, the point of testing and deployment? It seems a bit mental. These lights are a bit bright. That's a bit better. It just feels odd that you work through all of this project, and this could be 2 or 3 months worth of work, and it's only at the deployment phase that we start actually gathering some real proper insight and actually speaking to the customer to understand what their needs are, what they actually want from the website. We won't learn that until the site has been deployed. You have to react to what the audience is giving you in terms of feedback and data. But what if I could tell you that there was another way? So we start the process very similar by capturing the initial requirements. But at this phase, we would ask the customer. We'd then operate a workshop to talk through those findings, and that would be between the client and the research that we've just found. Based upon that insight, before we even start designing anything specifically, we'd go away and create wireframes and prototype the website. The idea being that you can then send it back out to the customers and actually gather more feedback to see whether or not what you've created is actually the right thing based on the research that you've already pre-conducted. Following the prototype, you can then move on to design and development and then launch your website. But it doesn't stop there. We'd be continuously testing and learning from that website post-launch to to make sure that it's operating effectively and that the audience is responding to the way that the website look and feels, the calls to action, conversion rate optimization, making sure that customers are following the user journey that has been mapped out in the wireframe and prototyping stages. The key here is that a website isn't done once it's launched. A website is a continuous improvement and evolution of an asset that the business needs. The advantage with this process versus the previous way is that the customer and the client gets to see the website fully working and operational before we've even started designing it. So these are the 2 points where the customer and the client actually gets to see the website. So going back to the original question, what is the value of insight? Well, it's having a methodical process that gets you to an end result that both the client and the customer has actually had some sort of buy-in throughout the process. The advantage of this, it reduces costs, it reduces disappointment, it improves conversion, it improves the customer experience, and can also improve retention. These are all things that are so important to your business. Okay, so hopefully you found this video useful. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to check the little bell so you get notifications when we upload a new video. We're going to be trying to upload new content on a weekly basis. Hopefully this has been a useful bit of insight into our methodology and way of working. If you are looking to take an insight first approach and you value insight as a part of your process to creating efficient customer journeys for your clients, then feel free to get in touch with Insight for UX today, and happy to talk about any of your requirements. Cool, thanks guys. See you later.